Hey, I heard there were some changes to the UBC Dietetics modules and forms.
That's right. Did you check out the Intro to 2013 Modules and Forms video? Before watching this video, please watch Section 1, Intro to Revised Modules and Forms. To get the most out of this video, if you are sitting at a computer, access an electronic version of the module form from the website to have as a reference. Later in this video, there will be an opportunity to pause and try using the form. As a quick recap, to find the forms, Google UBC Dietetics, click on Preceptors, then Internship Resources, and then the Modules and Forms link. From here, you can download one of the module forms.
Alright, but how do I actually fill out one of these new electronic forms?
Don't worry, we've created another video for you that will help you be able to describe the steps involved in preceptor form completion, complete a form according to the instructions, and explain the procedure for the timely submission of forms. To review, the new module forms are consolidated into one form per placement. The one form is several pages long and contains 8 sections that need to be completed by the intern, preceptor, or the core-site internship coordinator. The forms are module specific, and they are electronic forms that are now filled out on the computer and submitted online. In this video, we will walk through a module form, including the key parts of a form and how to fill it out. The intern will now have the form for most of the placement, so it is important for the preceptor to take informal notes throughout their time with the intern. You will receive the form from your intern via email 2 to 3 days prior to the end of the placement. When you receive the form, the first thing you should do is open it and save a copy to your hard drive. You should save using the format module title, so in this case management, .intern last name, .day, month, year. You can now open the saved document and begin to add your evaluation. The module title, such as management, shown here, is found at the top right-hand corner of the form. Instructions for saving the document can be found under the Preceptor Instructions heading on the first page of every module document. If you would like a larger or smaller view of the form, use the Zoom function located under the View tab to zoom in or out. You'll notice from this very zoomed out view that each form contains pages that are both horizontal and vertical. To zoom back in, use the zoom function again. The front page of the module document contains an overview and focus of the module, which have details about the module and placement, as well as instructions for the intern and further instructions for the preceptor. Remember, taking informal notes before receiving the form from your intern will allow you to recall specific examples and comments from throughout the placement. These notes can then be used while you are filling out the module form at the end of each placement. On page 2 of the same document, there is information about the new Performance Assessment Guide, as well as criteria and guidelines for evaluation. These provide guidelines for conducting your assessment of the intern. If we scroll down to page 3 of the same document, this is where the module activities and performance assessment begins. The intern is responsible for filling out the completed learning activities and the intern performance assessment sections. The sections the intern is responsible for completing are highlighted in the green boxes for the purpose of this video. When you receive the form from your intern, it should look something like the form we are using for this example. Performance objectives are underlined and numbered on the left-hand side of the page. On the right-hand side of the page, you will find the preceptor evaluation boxes. Each preceptor evaluation box relates to one performance objective. The preceptor only needs to complete the preceptor assessment section by selecting unsatisfactory, satisfactory, or good from the drop-down box as shown. Choose the appropriate category for your selection based on the performance assessment criteria on page 2. The assessment given should relate to the performance objective as a whole. Some learning activities may not be reasonable to address during a specific placement, and this should not affect the performance rating an intern is given. The comment box available below provides an opportunity for comments when a given assessment requires additional explanation. To add a comment, click on the gray area below the comment title and begin typing. It is not necessary to comment on the assessment given for every performance objective. Use comments sparingly to clarify reasoning for the given assessment. As a quick recap, under Module Activities and Performance Assessment, starting on page 3, the intern completes the learning activities and assessment. The preceptor only fills in the preceptor evaluation box and comment box. Use comments sparingly when necessary to explain a given evaluation. Use informal notes taken during the placement to inform your evaluation. The format for the previous section is repeated over several pages for each performance objective. Repeat the previous steps to complete the preceptor assessment for all performance objectives. A performance rating of satisfactory or good can still be given if the intern does not complete all learning activities. The assessment given should be based on the related learning activities that were feasible to complete during your placement time. The next section of the same form is titled Communication, Collaboration, and Professional Practice. You'll notice that the learning activities for this segment don't have the checkboxes provided that the previous learning activities have. This is because they are expected to be displayed continuously throughout the internship rather than checked off and completed. The preceptor's responsibilities do not change in this section of the form. The preceptor is still only responsible for filling out the preceptor assessment box and adding comments when necessary. The intern is responsible for filling out the intern evaluation and ensuring that they are exhibiting each of the feasible learning activities at all times. This section of the form is quite lengthy and continues for several pages in each module. As we continue scrolling through the form, we come to the section titled Assessment of Successful Completion of Placement. In order to complete a placement successfully, the intern needs to have met all requirements of that placement. This includes executing all learning activities, receiving a performance rating of satisfactory or good in all categories, that approach to practice is safe, and professional conduct is appropriate. The preceptor needs to identify whether the intern has successfully completed the placement by selecting yes or no from the drop-down box. The preceptor should then fill in each of the boxes below under Strengths, Areas for Improvement, and Comments by clicking on the shaded box and typing. Now is a chance to pause the video and practice filling out a section of the form using the electronic functions we have reviewed. Use the form you downloaded at the beginning of this presentation to try out these functions. If you need a reminder about where to find a form, watch Section 1, Intro to Revised Modules and Forms. If you would like to try filling out a form, pause this video now. If not, continue watching. Back to the module form, the next page of the same form contains the placement completion checklist. The first section of this form is completed by the intern. The next two sections are completed by the preceptor. One is a reminder of what should have been completed in the previous sections of the form. The second provides guidance for conducting the in-person evaluation with the intern. During the in-person evaluation, review and discuss intern performance using the completed module form as a guide. Next, assess intern agreement with the preceptor evaluation and fill in the form accordingly. If necessary, add comments to clarify the response. Then review and discuss the intern goal setting sheet, which is completed by the intern and found on the next page of this document. Finally, discuss any feedback or suggestions the intern may have regarding the placement. These should have been indicated in Task 3 of the intern section of the page. In an uncomplicated situation, allow yourself about 30 to 60 minutes to complete a module form. Keep in mind that if you are new to the form or have a complicated situation, it may take longer. This time estimate does not include the time required to take informal notes during a placement. The length of time to conduct the in-person evaluation will vary depending on the preceptor, the intern, and the placement. A major change in the submission procedure has occurred. It is now the preceptor's responsibility to submit the completed form. After the in-person evaluation, the preceptor must send the finalized version of this form electronically to the core site internship coordinator and the intern. The next page of the form contains the intern goal setting sheet, which will be completed by the intern and reviewed with the preceptor at the in-person evaluation. This provides the intern with the opportunity to reflect on their learning and set goals for further development. This page should be completed by the intern already when you receive the form. The last page of the module form is the internship coordinator checklist. This will be completed by the core site internship coordinator after the preceptor has submitted the form. The preceptor does not need to complete anything on this page of the module form. This completes our tour of the updated module forms. To recap, only one form needs to be completed for each placement. This form is several pages long and contains 8 sections. The intern is responsible for completing their section of the module form during their placement. 2 to 3 days prior to the end of the placement, the intern emails the form with their section completed to the preceptor. The preceptor saves the form and completes their sections. The preceptor completes the in-person evaluation using the form and emails the finalized copy to the core site internship coordinator and the intern. If you are not sure who your core site internship coordinator is, or do not have their contact information, clarify this with the intern. In this video, we have explained the sections of a module form, demonstrated the process of filling out a form, and outlined the intern's responsibility and the preceptor's responsibility in electronic form completion. We would like to extend a special thanks to the UBC Teaching and Learning Enhancement Fund for the funds they contributed to help produce this video. For more information, please visit the Dietetics website at landfood.ubc.ca/dietetics.